This is Professor Tommy Demos, and today I will be demonstrating Stormtrooper cloning. So the first step is to, of course, open up After Effects and then press New Project. We're going to save as immediately to make sure we save it to the correct place. We're going to click the arrow. We're going to choose the student hard drive, MDC, DIG, and we're going to call this one last name, first initial, underscore E17 underscore Stormtrooper cloning. Save. We need to bring in the footage. Double click in the project panel, student hard drive, MDC, DIG folder. There's going to be a folder called Rebellion Cloning Project. Rebellion Cloning Project. Click that. Notice that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos. Press open. Before we look at this awesome footage, if you need to create a scene where you have multiple stormtroopers, but you only have 3 outfits, 3 stormtrooper uniforms, but you want to have like 15 or 20 stormtroopers, what can you do? You can clone them. They are clones already, so it's like a copy of a copy. Get it? Okay. Why don't we look at the footage? I'm going to double click the first one and press play. This is the footage panel, and the footage panel is like a preview window. So this particular take has 3 stormtroopers through a doorway, and they're in the background. And it just loops over and over and over again because of the settings I have. That's a video clip. Double click the next one. It opens in the footage panel again. Press play. We've got 2 more stormtroopers. Are you getting the idea of what you're going to have to do here? You're going to have to combine all of these stormtroopers into a single. Oh my gosh, there's a PA. We're going to mask her out. I'm not worried about that. So we got stormtroopers standing on the left. We got stormtroopers standing on the right. Now, this is relatively easy because it's a lockdown shot. So the camera never moves. So this is just putting one layer on top of another, on top of another, on top of another. And then we have to use masking so that we only show portions of each image. That's it. So let's do it. Do you think that we should start with the background or the foreground? The background. So we're going to choose the background image first. We're going to lay it down there, and then all other layers, we're going to go toward the foreground and stack them on top. Okay? So let's start with the background. We have no composition. All we've been doing is looking at the footage panel, which is a little confusing to people. They often think that this is the final product. It's not, and you can easily tell that this is the footage panel because it says footage, and you've got this timeline with the green bar, and you know that something doesn't quite look right. Comps don't look like that. So we'll close that. We're going to take that background layer and drop it down to this new composition icon and drop it. Now you'll notice that the composition window doesn't have that green bar or that timeline, right? So we'll hit spacebar again. Do we need to do anything to this particular shot? No, because this is the background layer. We're going to be putting things on top of it. So we will now start with the next one, which is sort of the midground. And let's go ahead and drag this guy on top of that. So our mission is to cut out a hole through which we can see those guys in the back, right? And we need to cut it out of this image. So why don't we relabel this clip in the back? I'm going to hit enter and say background 3 guys. They're not guys, 3 stormtroopers. This one is the midground, 2 stormtroopers. Okay, now we are going to cut this door out so that we can see the layer behind it. Because if you think about it, it is behind it. This is a stackable thing. Undo. So which tool do we use to cut a hole? The pen tool. In order to cut a hole in this layer, we need to make sure the layer is selected. I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to not select the layer. I'm going to choose the pen tool, and I'm going to start drawing, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. This is great. It's going to work. Uh-oh, I have a red portal. This is not right. This is because I created a shape layer. If you do not select a layer when you choose the pen tool, you will create a new shape layer. This is a common mistake. It happens all the time. Delete. Select the mid-ground layer. Then use the pen tool. And then I like to zoom in and use my space bar to move around so I can be as accurate as possible. So we're going to start here. And we'll just keep drawing. I'm clicking. Now, if you click and hold, you can create a curved, a Bezier handle. Okay. You don't have to get it exactly perfect. It just has to be close. Let's zoom out. Make a straight line there. You know, I couldn't go here. I couldn't cut this out because I'll cut out his gun. So I had to use this part of the door. Okay. You don't want to ever cut any part of the guy out. Okay. And boom. Uh-oh. It did the opposite of what I wanted. What do you think we have to do? Invert. Done. Now we just added those background guys to this image. Pretty cool, huh? Now you have 5 stormtroopers for the price of 3. Okay, let's see if it looks good when we play it back. We'll take that mask off. See this little blue toggle mask and shape path visibility? We'll turn that off and we'll press play. Looks real to me. All right, let's do another one. This would be the left foreground. Grab that, throw it on top. We'll change this to foreground, left, 3 STs. What do you think we need to do now? Now remember, I'm going to turn that off for a second. There's a guy there, and we want to see him. So where do we need to draw our mask? Around the edges of this guy. And there's a shadow of him too. So we have to decide, do we want his shadow to be on the guy or not? Yes or no? No? Okay, we will remove the shadow. So let's do it. We actually can start high up here because there's no stormtrooper in the background there, right? Make sure that the layer is selected. We're going to zoom in and we're going to draw a mask. Now I'm going to do it relatively quickly. I'm not going to do it great because I want you to take time and do it yourself. You don't need to see me take the time. Okay, if you want to adjust these points after, you can do that. You can change the way it curves. You grab these little handles and do all that. Don't forget, hold it to curve. Now, if you want to curve it after the fact, you can select this and convert vertex tool and you break it, okay, and that gives you a curve after the fact, just in case you need to do that. All right, I think we're safe. I think we can not worry about the detail now. You know why, right? Because that guy's out of the way. So we can literally do this now. Oh my goodness. We have 3 more stormtroopers. Let's get out of this mask, click away, and it looks pretty good. Wow, I'm impressed. We didn't even do that good of a job with the rotoscope, and it's fine. Let's press play and see if it looks okay. Looks pretty good. Amazing, right? Technology. Let's do the 4th one. This is going to be the right foreground. Foreground, right, 3 stormtroopers. Do we have to worry about it now? Let's see. Yes, I think we do. There's a guy there too. So we have to do that same thing on the right side. This is very good practice for rotoscoping. So we start up here, make sure the layer is selected, start up here, click, click. Better zoom in so you can see what you're doing. See how you can make a curve either way? You can change that by dragging this handle. So remember, you click and drag without letting go of your click, and you get a curved. Oh, we're done. We don't have to keep going now because the guy is definitely out of the way. Click here, click here, click here, click here. Done. And then we have a guy in the foreground. Let's see if this actually worked. Let's click away and press play. Incredible. Stormtroopers on a budget. Grab this one, drag him up to the top. Oh, that should be a piece of cake. Click. Space bar. So you have to hold the space bar in order to move the canvas. If you don't hold the space bar, you're going to regret it because you're going to move the whole layer. Done. Zoom out. Click. 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 I think we're done. Let's check it. Want to make sure that the edge of him is okay. Oh, it's a little hard, isn't it? Why don't we feather the mask? So we're going to select it, push F for mask feather, and then feather a little bit, and we should be okay. Yep. Pretty cool. Okay, so that's what it should look like. This is a pass-fail assignment. File, save as. Make sure it's saved correctly. File, export, add to render queue. Change lossless, QuickTime correct, format options, video codec, Apple ProRes 422 proxy. If you're on a Windows machine and you don't have 422 proxy, do GoPro Cineform. Okay? Apple ProRes 422 proxy, press OK, press OK again. Output 2 is the file name. We need to call it the right thing. Same name as the project. Save, render. Done. So let's check the other masks. Only the first one is invert, and that's because I drew the mask around the area that I don't want to include. So it's different. For the other ones, I drew a box around what I did want to include. So if the mask is not working the way that you thought it would, invert it, and it'll probably do what you wanted it to do.